Three, two, one, let's go. So, hello everybody, and today we've got a special video for you, Reem and I. And this video will be a discussion of the current proceedings between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Present with me today and backed by popular demand is Reem. Say hello, Reem.
Hi guys.
And we'll basically be having a back and forth on our opinions on what's going on between Johnny and Amber, what are the accusations being passed out, and basically who we believe is the actual victim of these court proceedings. A quick recap of these proceedings. Basically Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they started dating 2012, they got married 2015, 2016 they got divorced, and in 2018 Amber Heard started claiming in an article that Johnny was an abusive spouse, and that's why she had to leave. She claimed she was the face of domestic abuse, and for a while a bunch of people believed her. But given that in 2019, Johnny Depp started suing Amber Heard for defamation, we start to see another side of the story, and that maybe Amber's story isn't that true. Currently, the court's still going on the matter. There's a live stream on YouTube, and yeah, that's where we're at. Reem, who is the victim?
Amber, of course.
Really?
No, not the victim. Sorry, my bad. Johnny, obviously. I got those mixed up.
Reem, we have to clearly be unbiased. We have to pretend we're legal experts, even though we're not. And to display our lack of bias, we have to be fair between Johnny Depp's story and Amber Turd's story. Amber Turd. So yeah, Reem. So basically, I guess we can say they're both toxic.
Yeah, but I'm assuming one person's a bit more cuckoo in the head than the other.
And who's that?
Obviously Amber. Like, I feel like as much as we all have our own relationships and we all have to separate at some point when things don't turn out the way we expected, there's always the saying that says it's the way they leave that matters. So if you were to terminate your relationship with whoever you're involved with, it's like the way that you leave that person is what leaves an impact on that person for the rest of their lives.
Right. And I'm guessing the way Amber left, claiming Johnny Depp was an abusive spouse, an abusive person, a rampant drug addict, and she also claims that he sexually assaulted her.
Yeah, I mean, there are like statements all over the place calling him a wife beater, but and it's so sad that he's going to be called that for the rest of his life, regardless if he wins this case or not. Because when accusations are made about you, that will always be there with you for the rest of your life. It may fade away at some point, or if you try to redeem yourself with another project or another incident that happens, you will be always called those statements.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay, look, I gotta be honest. When I first heard about this stuff and I was in university, this was going on in 2016, 2017. That's when the accusations informally started coming up that Johnny was an abuser. I thought, oh, okay, I guess we didn't know that about him. Maybe it's true. Because this was all during the Me Too movement. You remember that? Me Too?
Yeah, but don't forget when that Amber Heard is already associated with the Me Too movement, which plays it perfectly in her hands to make a case like this, to show herself as an advocate of domestic abuse.
How was she already involved? I'm not too familiar with this.
Apparently, she's already like an ambassador to the Me Too movement. She's donated a certain amount to become a member, and she is strongly supporting women who apparently have been through either rape or like domestic abuse or something like that. But it plays right into her hands to do something like this.
Right.
Because people are already assuming that, oh, like she already has the perfect life and the perfect husband and I don't know what. So how is she contributing to something like this when she's already never been through something similar?
Yeah. And like, I guess, let's be honest, in a celebrity's career, stuff like this, where you come out as the victim or survivor, it can only boost your career.
Exactly. So to me, this is all a publicity stunt that she's trying to do. Like whatever is going around in the tabloids, she's just trying to put her name on the table to show that yes, I've been through something like this, and it kind of broadens her spectrum of getting opportunities for jobs. She's trying to increase her gig receiving end, you know?
Yeah. So it's like the thing, there's no such thing as bad publicity. But I already
Exactly.
mentioned some of the accusations she got out, like sexual assault. He's a rampant drug addict. He's abusive. Have you heard of anything aside from that? Like any specific accusations?
I mean, if anything, like she's been calling him a horrible father. One of the cases that I watched apparently states that like she witnessed Johnny Depp giving weed to his daughter.
I don't think I'd ever do that.
Apparently, in his statement, in the eyes of court, he mentions that he was doing like yes, the statements are true that he did give weed to his daughter, but it was in a sense where he was trying to teach his daughter a lesson about who to receive drug abuse from. So if she's ever in a place where someone's offering her drugs or offering her alcohol or whatever, that she should do it with someone that at least he like she trusts, you know?
Mhm.
Like she shouldn't be going around accepting drugs and alcohol from strangers. So he was
Right.
experimenting with her to put her in a safe zone to be if she ever were to be exposed to something like that.
How old was she?
I think she was 15 or 14 at the time.
Hmm. Well, I have my own issues with that, but I think just specifically the stuff she's been saying, first of all, there's no consistency to it. Like
Well,
many
what's
times she's been contradicting herself.
I feel like at this point, because she realizes that she's losing more than she's gaining, that she's actually trying to fill in her case against him with whatever she can think about or whatever she can like write a script about, you know? Like at this point she's no longer acting. She's basically directing and writing the whole scenario according to her own opinion just to manipulate the situation.
But let's be honest, even the acting and the script, they're both trash. Like people are catching her on camera. This is a live stream in court, posing, slowing down. When she realizes the camera's on her, she changes her expression to be sadder. Like I think this is all backfiring. Like in the
Speak
beginning, I do believe it gave her a boost in the career. It got her some attention for her role in Aquaman, that movie. I don't know anything else she's in, and I guess it was good publicity for her in the beginning. But as time went on, people are saying that she's full of shit. She's not Amber Heard. She's Amber Turd.
well, if you think about it, there's actually a lot of references when you come to look at the actual trial itself where she pretends to be scared of Johnny Depp and she backs away pretending like, oh, if I'm so scared he's gonna abuse me again in the eyes of court. But like if you think about it, like she's acting such like a child because like Johnny Depp would, even if these statements were true where he was an abuser, he would never do it in court. Like you'd be jailed on spot.
Yeah, and like the thing is, it's people need to remember this is not a hearing on whether or not Johnny abused Amber. She never charged him. She never applied to have him charged on anything. This is Johnny suing Amber because Amber has made claims that have ruined, not ruined, I think he'll survive this, that have severely damaged his career, severely damaged his own life, his reputation. And apparently those claims have no basis, because looking at these court proceedings, there's video, not videotapes, there's audio recordings contradicting what she says. There's witnesses contradicting what she says. Her stories don't match with her other stories. Her lawyers suck. They just suck. They're terrible at their jobs. Like, one guy objected to an answer to a question that he asked, which is stupid.
Like even in the court case itself, like there's always this part where Johnny goes like, "Are you gonna object? Are we waiting for it? Is it
Everyone's
gonna happen?"
waiting for it. He's objecting every 3 seconds. No one can get an answer out of Johnny.
Exactly. Like if you're gonna put it at, if you're gonna be on trial, like at least give the man like his opportunity to speak.
Yeah. And dude, like, let's be straight. This man's life was near ruined. Like, he lost the guy who created Jack Sparrow, like who made Jack Sparrow of the Pirates of the Caribbean series, who dressed up as this character for young cancer patients to make them happier, like who basically made these movies what they are. There would be no Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny Depp, let's be honest.
That we know a lot of things
He
without
lost
Johnny.
that. Like, they dropped him. I'm pretty sure Disney dropped him, right?
They dropped him, and so did Warner Bros. And at this point of the trial, because of Amber Heard going underneath the bus at this point, they're also considering dropping her from the entire franchise as well.
Yeah, but look, they're going to drop her if they do, because she's clearly, my opinion, because it seems like she's full of shit. But they already dropped him years ago and already like just damaged him to the point where he says he doesn't want to be that character anymore.
But you never know. This might be a recovery where they'd actually go back and say, "Hey, we apologize on our behalf for underestimating you," and then you never know.
I don't think they'll ever do it. I don't think they'll ever do it. They will apologize for harming a woman, negatively affecting a woman. I don't know. I've never seen any company apologize to a man in a case of domestic abuse.
Look, as one of the things I wanted to talk about when it came to this is I am a feminist at heart. Like I will defend a woman to the ground, but I feel like for you to be a feminist, that means you also have to think about the concept of gender equality. When you think about terms like domestic abuse or violent abuse or like even rape or all of these statements that usually like make a woman feel bad, it's not just targeted to women. Those terms are not feminine terms. They can also be used for men. Men are also victims of domestic abuse. Men are also victims of rape. Men are also victims of violence or whatever. But the only difference is because we feel like there's a gender difference within our community. So we always give sympathy towards the women versus men. Like that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my entire life, that we always give women the higher power. If any woman were to go up to a court case and tell them I got abused or I got raped or whatever, they would always favor it in the woman's hands because they feel like she's the person who deserves to be heard. But in reality, it's never like that. It's more or less what the guy is feeling as well. Like, what if it was the other way around? Why aren't you giving the rights to men?
Yeah, I agree. Because like, wasn't that one of the mottos of the Me Too movement? Believe all women.
Exactly. Believe all women. But like, I feel like at this point in day and age, the whole idea of women being believed in should not be like that. If it's the Me Too movement, then it's also you and I. It's not just the I movement.
Like, I don't know what to say. The thing is, women are people and people lie. Not all of them, but like I've seen many cases where, and we're kind of like going a bit away from the topic here, but I've seen many cases in America, Canada, other places where a man will be arrested for rape or for sexual assault or for abuse. And then years later, after they've spent years in jail, the woman will either admit she lied, or DNA evidence won't match, or there's going to be new witnesses, new evidence. And the guy finally gets out of jail that he's been years in. but nothing happens to the woman. Very rarely does the woman who lied
Who
get a
knows?
jail
Maybe she
sentence.
started the violence. Maybe she's the one who initiated the violence. She probably threw a beer bottle on his head and he got raged, you know?
Exactly. So yeah,
So
Reem, you're talking about how the woman could initiate the abuse.
yeah, like imagine if she like threw a bottle at his head and then like obviously like that would put her into the initiating start of the entire abuse to start with.
Mm.
So whether I feel like with this situation, like it's always because the man seems like such a stronger opponent. So whether she initiates it or not, he could be the person to blame either way because the damage is worse.
Yeah.
Even if I go back to Johnny Depp's case with Amber Heard, um, in the trial cases, it was actually stated that was the other way around. Because then, if you see the scars on her face, they're there one day and they're not there another day. And apparently, she defended her case by saying that like she used like a makeup palette or some sort of thing to cover up her bruises, which is very funny enough. Lano, when the lawyer came up with the entire compact that she was using for the past few years to cover up her abuse or whatever, that makeup palette that she's been using hasn't even been released up until like 2 years ago.
Right.
So
her story is inconsistent again and again.
inconsistent. And if you look at pictures of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard together, you'll always notice that he has scars on his face. It's not really her. He has
Scars and bruises. I don't think scars. I mean, I think you meant bruises.
no, there was also scars involved. Like even one of his
Really?
bodyguards stated that he had like 2 scars on the back of his neck, almost like they look like a nail being dicked into his skin.
And dude, we're forgetting one of the biggest thing. When she threw a glass bottle at him, it's in the courts, like that's what he's saying, where it shattered against him or his hand, and the piece of glass like severed the tip of his finger. If you guys look at
Exactly.
Johnny's finger, the tip is missing. And while he's around her in the old times, he's like wearing a bandage.
It's crazy how you take the story and you flip it around. And even back before Amber Heard and Johnny Depp were romantically involved together, Amber Heard was actually in a previous relationship with a woman, and she mentioned that Amber Heard used to domestically abuse her. So
Yeah.
it feels outrageous that she's taking a page out of her old books and trying to reverse the tables to use it in her own benefit.
Yeah. And I don't know what to say. Like, I feel like Amber is very manipulative. Like
Well,
now
yeah,
that she's on camera and stuff, we kind of see how dumb the manipulation is. Like how she'll like pretend to be sad, look at the camera, and then start crying, things like this. But I think she preys on, I think just when she was with Johnny, Johnny to me comes off as a softie, a softie, like vulnerable and stuff like that. He's been through a lot in his younger years, a lot of drug abuse and other kinds of abuse and things like that. And we have to keep in mind, Johnny did not divorce Amber. Amber divorced Johnny. So
yeah,
he was still
but
continuing in that relationship even during the time of the abuse.
even if you look at it from a court's point of view, the idea that the woman is the one who claimed to want the divorce, it actually puts it higher into her favor because she's the one who wanted to back out of something she thought was traumatizing. But if you really look at it, you broke a man's heart and you made accusations against him. You're using his family against him. You're using his friends against him. But like, if you really think about it, all the statements that Amber Heard is making, those are in her own opinion, and those are according to her lawyers that made up a script.
Yeah.
But no one has actually got up on the stand and defended Amber Heard whatsoever. In fact, if you look at the people that they've interviewed so far for this case, they've all been on Johnny's side. It just makes it even worse.
Which is why I keep saying she has shit lawyers. Because it's like what you said, Reem. When Amber alleges something, there is no evidence aside from like hearsay or very little stuff to corroborate it. Like at worst, she's shown that Johnny is either a very sarcastic guy or a drug addict. which he kind of is. Johnny has a history of using drugs, but
Yeah, but
there's never
yeah,
any concrete show of abuse. But then when we look at Johnny's side, like the recordings he brings, the witnesses he brings, the basically the receipts he brings to the table, he is able to show that Amber is abusive. She like belittles him all the time. She calls him an old man, implying he's worthless. Again, we have like the fact he lost the tip of his finger, and we have like a recording where she starts saying, well, either a recording or a statement, I can't remember which, where she's just saying no one will believe him, something along those lines. He's bringing the receipts and she's bringing nothing. If anything, she's just proving how vulnerable and damaged he is, but not that he damages people.
I totally agree. And what makes it even more interesting is that there's this part where she brings Kate Moss into the picture.
I remember that.
And yeah.
And apparently
And
she wasn't supposed to.
And she wasn't supposed to. Apparently she says that like they were on the stairs and Kate Moss was previously already romantically involved with Johnny Depp, and they were all three of them on the stairs, and Johnny Depp apparently pushed her down the stairs or something like that.
Mm. And the thing is, why her lawyers were angry about that and why his lawyers were so happy about that is because what I read was Johnny's team wanted to bring Kate Moss to the stand as a former partner of his to state that Johnny's not abusive. But then the other lawyers argued this has no relevancy. Kate Moss has no relevancy to the case, so they shouldn't bring her to the court to give her statement on Johnny, which would support Johnny. But now that Amber Heard mentioned Kate Moss,
it has to go up on the stand.
She has to go up on the stand because now it's like, okay, she's relevant now. And now you're basically going to have a bunch of like not a bunch. You're going to have Amber's ex saying that Amber is abusive. And now you're going to have Johnny's ex saying that he's not abusive because people keep referring to Johnny as like a sweetheart.
Tell you what's funny, at some point of this entire trial, apparently, Amber Heard actually tried to give in to the case itself and take herself out of it. She mentioned that to the judge, and the judge actually rejected because if she loses this trial, she's going to be in debt for 50 million.
Yeah.
Which basically is money that she obviously doesn't have at this point.
Yeah. She's not that big of a star.
Exactly. And what's so funny about it, how manipulative she is when it comes to money, the fact when they got a divorce in the first place, Johnny Depp gave Amber Heard out of the divorce $7 million. Okay, which apparently when they made accusations against her that stated that she didn't do this for the money, she just wanted her rights, she just wanted to be free or whatever. She said she was going to donate all the $7 million to divide it into 3.5 for one charity and to 3.5 for another charity.
Which did she do that?
Here's the funny part. She went on an interview once on one of these shows, and she mentioned that the 7 million have been donated already. Okay, but when they actually got the foundations that she stated that they donated from, one of these donations said that they never received a donation from Amber Heard with $3.5 million. And the other donation that she sent out, the foundation came out across in the trial and spoke about it, and she only donated $350,000 in her name, $100,000 apparently in Johnny's name, and $100,000 in Elon Musk's name.
So she wanted to look like she donated, but not that she donated the full amount.
Exactly.
What I don't get about Amber is 2016, 2017, she won, I want to say, let me go into this. She won. She divorced. She got $7 million. Johnny settled, which looked terrible for him because it's like, why would you settle if you weren't the abuser? Something like that. Her career was kicking off with Aquaman. She was getting other projects. I can't remember the name. She's not really that big of an actress. And her career was kicking off. But then around 2018, 2019, based on my research, she started doubling down. Like she wanted to be I guess she wanted to get more fame. This is speculation, but I assume she wanted to get more fame. She started again going heavy on Johnny was abusive. I'm the face of domestic abuse. She started writing articles based on my research. Like she started making it her thing, like her story, her gimmick, I want to say. Like she already won. And then she wanted to come back to the scene of the crime. And then it was like, fuck it. That's it. Time to show the world who she really is.
I think this is the perfect price to get for someone who is based on greed and manipulation. Like if you ever put yourself in a situation where khalas, like you've won the first time and you want to go at it for round two, like just accept that you won one battle instead of aiming to like win the whole war.
But she didn't go for round two. She was like doing articles on the side, still shitting on Johnny, pun intended. We're going to get into that. But it came to a point where Johnny was like, enough. I'm going to sue you for defamation. And to the viewers who don't know, defamation is literally when you're accusing the other person of intentionally damaging your image. So you can sue them for the damages to your image, your reputation. Because Johnny lost a lot on this.
Yeah, obviously he lost roles, he lost ambassadorships, he lost so many connections, he lost his credibility in the eyes of the public. So especially when it comes to such an A-star like celebrity, that is huge. Like imagine being on top of your game and all of a sudden someone comes and says you're a piece of shit and everyone decides to go on their side. How bad does that look?
And people believe it. Why? You got this guy with a history of drug abuse on the corner. He looks a bit like gothic, let's be honest. And then on the other side, you got like this stunning, beautiful, up and coming actress, young blonde who knows how to cry.
Don't forget that rumors came up because Johnny Depp is so infamous for like shape shifting into different roles. Like he's so good with the idea of masking his identity to fit into a role for a movie. They called him like a shapeshifter. They called him shapeshifter for a while because he knows how to switch between roles and roles.
That's fucked up.
Exactly. So you basically fucked up his career.
Yeah, he lost a lot. And dude, what we need to remember is during this time, his mother was dying. His mother, I want to confirm this, but from what I understand is during these the accusations, I'm not sure during the court proceedings, but like his mom was sick and hospitalized and she was dying during this time. She's dead now. Imagine having everyone attack you, losing all your roles, everything you worked hard for. Like having people like assume like you're just like this very abusive drug addict, and then in the meanwhile you're trying to console your dying mom. She died in, when did she die? She died in 2016. So before the worst of the accusations, but during the abuse. Like during the court proceedings for the divorce, during the settlement, during like the time where she threw a bottle at him, like Amber Heard threw a bottle at him, assaulted him, harassed him, abused him emotionally, I'm assuming.
It just all makes me really sick to my stomach.
When I look at Amber Heard, I see psychopath. I don't want to say actual psychopath, but like that requires a professional, but like someone who does not care who she hurts in the pursuit of her own self-interest. What did you say?
She was diagnosed with personality disorder.
There you go.
And what makes it even worse, like as an acknowledgement, the day she decided to make a restraining order against Johnny Depp at some point, she filed it on the day of his daughter's birthday. So like imagine being on a constant reminder every year on your daughter's birthday that that's the day that your dad got a restraining order from a whore.
That's messed up. Like, dude, this lady was just putting him through the worst years of his life.
She goes off and says that she's had an amazing relationship with her kids, but even when his own daughter comes to the stand, she says, I never liked the woman. And that's the reason I never attended their wedding.
Why would she? Why would anyone like her? We have to keep in mind during the court proceedings, like recordings were put forth that during her relationship with Johnny, Amber Heard cheated on him with, and these are two proven, it could be more people that she cheated on him with number one, and I'm very disappointed about this because I really like this guy, Elon Musk. And number two, James Franco, James
And I love
Franco, the
that.
actor.
I feel like, yeah, definitely. If that's the case, then yeah, then she is definitely someone who is not trustworthy, not loyal, doesn't know how to speak the truth, is very manipulative, has personality disorder, and she comes up to the court and presents herself as the most innocent woman on the planet, trying to portray this whole like sympathetic seeking like tribe strategy, where all she wants to do is sit around and say he did this and he did that and he did this and I was such a good wife and I was such a good stepmom and I tried so hard to make this relationship work and I don't know what. But at the end of the day, like, you're the one who first ordered to get the divorce. You're the person who received the money that you never donated to the charities that you mentioned. You're the person who has no proof whatsoever in the eyes of court about anything that you have in the statements. And in return, you're getting so much defense from the opposite side that says, yes, we do have proof that this and this and this happened. You have bodyguards and you have restaurant workers and hotel managers coming up to the stand and going with Johnny Depp's side with actual proof. And you're just there continuing your montage of acting. Like,
Yep.
if anything, I applaud you as an actor. You really know how to manipulate someone into thinking that you're a victim.
I agree. And then she came back, fucked it all up. She came back to the scene of the crime and she shat all over her parade.
And like, even the tiny statements that she says are kind of hilarious in my point. Like, there's a scene where she said, my dog stepped into his pee and I don't know what, and she acts like that's the saddest thing that she's ever seen.
Then people like make fun of that in a meme.
Exactly. Like, you're putting yourself in a situation that's not credible whatsoever. In fact, people are sitting around laughing about you, saying how much you really know how to act. If anything, if I was a hiring manager at this point looking for someone to know how to manipulate, you'd be the first person I'd hire.
I don't know because she still fucked it up. It was going for her. She got what she wanted. 2016, 2017, a bunch of money and a bunch of fame.
Exactly. Like, you literally put yourself on the spot. Like, right now, you have so much opportunities to go onto a show and act as a villain because you know how to act like a victim.
Jeez. She ruined
If
it.
anything, I ever decided to make this into like a movie at some point on like whatever streaming show, okay, I'd actually bring Amber Heard herself to act herself. Like, because you've already done it once, you might as well do it twice.
Yeah, but then like you'd have to deal with her just shitting on things though. You'd have to have a whole cleanup crew after her. Can we expand on that for the people who don't know? So guys, the accusation out there, and I don't know if it's like completely true or not, but I personally think it's plausible, is that Amber Heard shat on Johnny's bed. And I don't know who took a picture of it. I think it was the maid, and like she sent it to Johnny or someone else. But she tried to play it off in a recording or in a statement to Johnny as like, oh, that was the dog. Her dog, or not her dog, his dog. And in court, Johnny was like, Your Honor, my dogs have been with me for years. They're like they're like this little tiny breed of dog, like what was it, a terrier or something, like a dog like this big. And then he was like implying the size of the turd on their bed was too big to come from that dog. And, and like there's a clip of Johnny just saying like, Your Honor, respectfully, like the size of that, he never called it shit or turd. He's like,
It's a huge.
the size of that fecal matter. He kept saying fecal matter. And then it's like, if it's not the dog, if it's not Johnny, it's either Amber or her friends. But I feel like Amber shat on their bed as a revenge. And now everyone is calling her, instead of Amber Heard, Amber Turd.
But it's a very double meaning
Yeah,
statement.
she's a very shitty person, Reem. She got
She
herself in
is.
some deep shit. She shat all over her own parade.
Literally.
What a shitty situation.
How do you think this is going to end up as prediction?
I think it's going to go on Johnny's side. She's not going to have the money. She's probably going to claim bankruptcy or something, or the judge like won't even say 50 million. He'll probably give a lower amount. I'm not too sure how the court works. I think her career
Burning.
as a serious actress is over, but people will still keep hiring her for like mediocre films because they want the drama and popularity she brings. Now she's going basically be on the same level as like people who are famous just for being famous, like Kardashians or something. She's not going to
Yeah.
be a professional actress or a serious actress anymore. Johnny will slowly get some of what he had back, but the damage is done. These companies don't like to admit they're wrong.
Yeah, definitely. It's very funny where in this situation, both parties are kind of in a way losing in their own way.
I think Johnny's already lost. Now he's just reclaiming some of it back.
He's
Like,
trying to be redeemable.
yeah, like, dude, how can you like just reclaim a period of your life where while your mom was dying, you lost a bunch of you're not even just roles, your signature roles. Like when I see Jack Sparrow, I think Johnny Depp. And people have just been like you saw how easily the world turned on you, and like only his true friends stuck through with him on this. Mental health wise, like, dude, this is the kind of stuff people kill themselves over.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this hasn't formed such a huge psychological disorder or damage on him. Like it's so disruptive to the brain to have to experience things like this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm comparing this to people's backgrounds that I've known or maybe even personally, but to have such a part of your life become so shattering and so toxic and so manipulative from all aspects around you, from the people who you thought were close to you, it really puts a toll on you. Like, even if I'm going to put his career aside, like, yeah, sure, those damages will be recovered whatsoever. I think he's at a stable point where at any point he wants to be whatever he wants, he can be,
Yeah, he's already wealthy.
Exactly. But at the emotional state, you just screwed someone who has probably a very bubbly personality, someone who's already lost mentally, someone who's been through drugs and is trying to become a better person. So
Yeah.
for someone to recover from being in that state in such a very harsh way, that is going to keep glass shattered in his heart and his brain probably for the rest of his life.
I know. He's gonna have depending where it goes, he's gonna have a long healing process ahead of him.
And it's not just that, like I feel like even on an intimate level where he's going to build friendships or relationships with future people, he's going to have such strong opinions with keeping his guard up and having so many trust issues towards any person he decides to have a bond with in the future.
Yeah.
Because imagine falling in love with someone, thinking they're the love of your life, going through years and years of marriage, and then all of a sudden discovering that the person who's been sleeping next to you for all this time is the person who's going to damage your life.
My thoughts, Reem, is look, when you see a girl like Amber Heard, and dude, she's gorgeous, she's talented, she's kind of strong if you think about it. It makes it easier for you to idealize that relationship. Oh, I have this perfect person, I'm going to have this perfect relationship. Now I'm finally happy. But if you're, like I said in my previous videos, if you're not happy before the relationship, and Johnny has had a lot of issues with depression and drugs, you're not going to be happy during a relationship. And if that person is truly I don't want to say evil, is that if that person is truly a manipulative and devious person, you're going to be so vulnerable to that manipulation, and that person can either control you or break you.
I totally agree.
I think what's going on with the Amber Heard situation and Johnny's situation just goes to show that when it comes to domestic abuse, men are at a disadvantage if they are the victims.
Of course, because again, I'll say this: domestic abuse and violence and whatever term falls into similarities or synonyms to that are always sympathetic towards women. And you never take a man's word in consideration when it comes to these causes, because you feel like regardless, it's always the man who has the higher power in terms of actual strength to be able to do something like that. Whenever I see on TV or whatever, like if a woman hits a man, it's like you're hurting his honor, you know? And we never actually speak about that in a sense where like we feel like women don't have the courage enough to actually damage a man's honor whatsoever. But in reality, they actually do. We're in a generation where people now have become, being male or female is no longer relevant to these cases. Doesn't matter what gender you are, what nationality you are, whatever. I feel like if you do something wrong, you did something wrong. If you slap the shit out of someone, you have to be accused for it.
Yeah. But even when you're accused for it, people will go rush to usually the woman's defense. And the other guys are guilty of this too.
There are so many stories where men don't speak about their rapes experiences. There are so many stories where men don't speak about them being hit because they feel like it's going to hurt their honor. But I think Johnny in this situation really had to speak about it, because in this case, no, like I have to say the truth. Like I wasn't the person hitting her, she was the person hitting me.
And I think like he achieved that. I think the narrative is flipping. I feel most people are on his side at this point. Just looking at the court's proceedings, I don't know how you can be anything else. And look, the best case scenario was this never happened. He never met her. His life went on. I think he should just focus on his life as a dad and his friends, his true friends that he knows by this point, and then just heal.
I think that's the best way. Probably go on a 2-year vacation or something and try to recover.
Exactly. Because like I said, he has issues aside from the relationship.
Of course, like I can totally understand where someone like him has more than he thinks on his plate.
Exactly. So I think having talked about this, let's just do a quick recap before we conclude this video, because I think our thoughts are pretty clear on this point. By this point, Reem, who do you think is the guilty party?
Amber.
I agree. And what do you think will be the outcome of this?
I think they're both just gonna go separate ways and live their lives with the damages that they both caused to each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think because she's younger and she was never as much, like she doesn't have the same level of fame as him, I think career-wise, this is a setback. Aside from like some shitty movies, which are just going to be memes or something. And for him, it's like the career doesn't really matter, but like the damage is done. It's not going to get
It-
worse than this.
It's a stunt that was definitely successful. It got the world speaking about topics that you didn't really want to talk about.
Yeah,
And it put them both into fame, whether it was good press or bad press. So I would consider this entire court case a success in whichever way it turns out to be. It got people speaking about a matter that is usually not usually spoken about much.
like domestic abuse on males.
Exactly. It was a topic that no one really spoke about. And I'm glad something like this happened for people to actually, you know what, speak about it. You men have rights too. And on behalf of my gender, I feel like you all deserve the same amount of respect that we get.
Exactly. And I appreciate that coming from you, Reem. So basically, guys, if you're not this is what I always say: if you're not happy in your relationship, if your relationship is a bad relationship with happy moments, that doesn't count. Get out of that relationship, and if that person is abusing you physically, if that person's abusing you emotionally, if they're gaslighting you, if they're I guess throwing stuff at you, cheating on you, lying about you, not considering what else you're going through in your life, just leave that relationship.
You have to do what's best for you. If it's not the full package, then the package isn't worthy.
I agree. Reem, I want to thank you for this discourse, let's say, discussion. It's not a debate because we pretty much agree with each other. Definitely not that. And I think this is a fun new format for the channel, and I definitely want you on more for other topics.
And the court has been adjourned.
Ewa, ewa. So everybody, if you agree or disagree with what we have said in this discussion, comment down below. Reem. Yeah,
Right.
comment down below. And as usual, because it helps us get out there, because it helps us with the algorithm and allows us to show in people's feed, like this video, subscribe, and join our community on Instagram. Reem, again, I probably already said this, but thank you for
Always a pleasure.
giving us your opinion on this shitty discussion between Johnny Depp and Amber Turd, who is a very shitty person.
I look forward to more, but let's keep it less shitty.
Yalla. Don't worry, without Amber Heard, 90% of the shit is gone. So yeah, this discussion is over. Take care, everybody, and see you.